There's a new signature guitar coming out only at the Gibson Garage. More specifically, the London branch. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Who is this guy putting squiggles on a guitar? Well, it's none other than Noel Gallagher of Oasis fame. While he's used Gibson products throughout his career, starting in 2021, they started to do a whole bunch of signature guitars for him, and they have all sold incredibly well, starting with his J150. In 2022, we had a 1960 reissue ES355. That same year, they brought out more Epiphones for him, starting with the Riviera model. But to celebrate the opening of the Gibson London Garage, they did an exclusive 1978 reissue of one of his Les Paul Custom as a made-to-measure batch order that I believe he signed the back of the headstock, and then they ended up selling these to benefit his preferred charity. And if I remember correctly, these were like $10,000. So they're doing this again with him. But instead of a Les Paul Custom, we only have this photo to go off of. So if you want one of these, you have to physically be present at the Gibson London Garage on the 21st of August. I don't know the price. I don't know how many they're making. In this one photo, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe the room's symmetrical and we have them on the other side too. I would guess around 20, 25. And maybe they'll be $10,000 and it'll also support charity again. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. But as far as specs this time around, apparently he's been touring with a guitar that looks similar to this. It's a dual P90 equipped black Les Paul, likely built to historic standards. So for example, today from the custom shop, you can buy something very similar for $5,000 brand new, but featuring cream plastics with a gold top finish, complemented with a natural back. But a lot of people are seeing this photo and going, hey, this kind of reminds me of Neil Young's Old Black. So even if you're not necessarily just an Oasis fan, you might enjoy this guitar along those vibes as well. Gibson has never officially made one of these with the branding and the COA and all that, but occasionally a made-to-measure custom order will come out. And if I remember the lore correctly, there were a few unofficial ones made when they were trying to make it happen. And if memory serves, it's like a 53 Les Paul that's been converted to have a big speed. But it initially started life with P90s, but somebody put one of the Firebird pickups in here. It's got a cool metal pick guard, and yeah, it's got all the wear and tear and aging. But besides our black finish, it really is just our metal pickup covers on here that makes this one unique. And hey, now that I'm looking closely, it looks like our switch tip is also made of a similar material. And I see Murphy Labs treatment being done to this, as well as our hardware, so that would certainly bump the price up a little bit too. I'm kind of questioning, why is he signing them on the back of the body? I feel like that's one of the worst locations to sign a guitar, unless they're clear coating them, because it forces you to not play the thing, because that's exactly where it rubs against you, unfortunately. My preferred spot to have a guitar signed is on the back of the headstock in between the tuners, because typically speaking, nothing ever touches there. But I do want to shout out thechiefsguitars.com. You can enter this link into your URL if you want to learn some more nitty-gritty detailed information. The author of this website has done a great job in documenting his use of this guitar this past year, and that there's actually a few different prototypes that they were doing. So here's one that shows a lot more relicking than what we were seeing that was hung up at the garage. And it's got some more heavy wear here, but it's got that nice patina of everything else. Coming up here, it looks like we've got Grover tuners. So this is a fun little photo. It shows, I think, that exact same guitar next to his signature, as well as another J150 that he's known for, this time in the natural finish, and by his high watt amps. But this website also had more information that it appears to be built to 1960 specs. So that makes this officially an RO, but with P90 pickups. So if these were heavy aged, that technically bumps the price up to $9,200, whereas it'd be about $67 without the aging. So if indeed these are $10,000 again, it makes a bit more sense. I wanted to double check this pick guard stuff. The article was saying it was 5-ply, and yeah, sure enough, even on the ones that they brought to production, that is a Les Paul Customs pick guard. For some reason, that just didn't stand out to me. It was the pickups that were stealing the show. But to be fair, I mean, you could put that on any reissue. That's not necessarily special, but having a 1960 reissue with black plastics is uncommon. And I'm really glad this website documented this phenomenon. It appears Noel has more than one of these made as they were prototyping this. Because if you come down here, this arm wear pattern looks a little heavier, but look at the neck. It's like completely worn down. And wow, they've really nailed that ambered aging. Black guitars age the best out of all of them, in my opinion. But here was a great shot of him on the back. Now, if you zoom in here, I do agree with the author of that site. It looks like a Stinger. However, it just looks purposefully sanded down and not like Gibson's usual best Stinger. So I wonder if that's more so part of the aging Super Relic job or not. Because in this photo, we can verify that it's not just a natural back like a reissue might be. The whole back of the guitar is still ebony. And there's still a bit of ebony left over here. So natural neck, black everything else, that would have been a cool release. However, look at the official launch. They decided not to do that. I would imagine these aren't super heavily reliced. They have worn through in a few areas. However, at the same time, that could just be reflections, because that's definitely not wear. It's hard when we're just working on teaser photos. Because even the one that we can see a little bit more clearly, I'm not sure if that's actually wear or not. But certainly nothing like we were seeing there. But here's a photo of all of his guitars out on tour. Yeah, sure enough, there were two there, and it had wear on the back. I would imagine this went from super ultra heavy aged all the way down to maybe just slightly above light, because it does not look like we have the buckle rash. Well, anywhere near as heavily. Oh man, that would have been really cool. Leave that there, and then I would say, hey, it would actually be cool if he signs the buckle rash area on the bare mahogany, and then they clear coat it over. Or hear me out. Do you think Noel purposefully sanded down the finish on his two prototypes? Because, I mean, looking at these other photos, he might be into doing that. But then there's this photo. That looks like a Gibson USA product to me, because those look like the acrylic inlays that you'd find at Gibson USA. So does the headstock. Definitely the truss rod cover. Will we actually see an international release as the Noel Gallagher Collection Les Paul Standard? Because they already have the P90 Standard. Why not just do one with slightly different other stuff? Or to be fair, you could easily modify an existing used one, because Gibson actually does sell a .com exclusive right now for $2,600. All you had to do, get yourself some metal pickup covers, match the toggle switch. Seems easy enough for Gibson to throw that up in the lineup. And hey, to add fuel to the fire on that, here it is with his 150, 355, the Riviera, all his current models. Yep, Gibson USA. They're gonna do it. I'm calling it here. The London Garage is gonna get whatever this made-to-measure batch is, but then everybody else is gonna have this new version, because there's no reason for this to be part of some exhibition fan package if it wasn't eventually going to happen. And if you needed even more proof that that's going to be a Gibson USA, look really closely at the ABR1 bridge. It's got the hex key adjustments for our posts. I never know where I'm gonna end up in these episodes, and I think we just discovered something a bit new, because it wasn't that long ago that we had the Warren Haynes signature Les Paul that also was P90 equipped. I wonder if this Gallagher is going to have any type of secret sauce to it. Like maybe those aren't regular P90s, or maybe they're like full custom shop, slightly aged ones. We'll just have to find out. Good luck, all of you who are after that custom shop one. Trust me, you're going to want to line up early if it's anything like the previous releases. But hey, we've got some time left tonight. Let's do a little bit of reverb hunting. The first one that caught my attention is this 2024 made-to-measure Les Paul custom shop. From the leading photo, I just thought this thing looked a little bit older than 2024. It has a very early 2000s look to it. I think it has something to do with gold hardware. I suppose that's more so 90s Les Paul standard stuff. I'm thinking things like the custom color series. But the next thing, check out our split parallelograms. That's fun. Typically, you'd find that on like an ES345 or one of the double neck. But that doesn't mean that you won't find it on other ones like the Florentine Cut LP295, part of Gibson's Guitar of the Month series that borrowed ES295 elements. There was also a long scale custom shop model that used these a while ago, but this does not appear to be one of those. But now we'll flip over to, whoa. Okay. It's more so channeling 70s. All right, that makes more sense. When's the last time you've seen a 59 reissue get a burst on the back of the body, back of the neck, and the headstock? Oh, man. The old pocketbook's gonna be crying this week. I just committed to buying a different expensive guitar. The fact that it's also a plain top is really cool to me. You don't find many plain tops out of the custom shop nowadays when it comes to burst finishes. And it makes sense. If you're going to buy one of these things, as expensive as they are, you want it to be as fancy as possible. But coming up here, it's actually labeled a 58 reissue. That's important to know because 58 reissues, to be honest, they're kind of an unsung deal within the brand new guitar community, because look at this, $5,300. Going to 1 year later reissue specs, the price all of a sudden jumps to $6,700. Now, you can technically make the argument, well, yeah, you get a beautiful figure top. However, sometimes you can find flamey 58s too, but that is one way to save $1,400. The reason I bring that up, on the used market, make sure you're not paying R9, RO prices for 58 reissues. But this one, honestly, it's priced pretty appropriately. $4,000 for all those custom specs that I'm sure they charged them over $1,000 premium for. According to the seller, it was just as much as an R9. Doesn't look like they changed the big neck profile shape, but we've got custom Bucker Alnico 3s in there. Let's just say, if that was $35, I would have already bought it. But we'll end tonight's episode with this studio gem that was just listed. When researching the Noel Gallagher, there was a lot of marketing talk going on behind, oh, you don't find P90s and Les Pauls very often. I mean, you do. 1952 through early 1957, that's just what they were. But once the humbuckers took over, yeah, you don't find the P90s as often. But one of the earliest series that I can remember where the P90s come back in the Les Paul studio operation. Now, keep in mind, those didn't come out till 83. But the first one that I can think of that came out with the P90s is the Gem series. People are usually asking, anywhere between $15,000 and $2,000 on these, but that's just the asking price. You can always make an offer. But they came in very unique finishes, as the Gem series branding would suggest. You get things like sapphire, emerald, like we're looking at here. But if you can't find one of these for a good price, what you want to go to next would be the 2010s Les Paul Tribute series. You can find P91s as like the 60s Tribute. Those are like very fantastic. But as far as our green friend here, looks like there's a nick right there. So nope, haven't reviewed one of these yet because I haven't found the right color and condition and price combination yet. But hey, at least we have a nice case. But at $2,000 local pickup only, that might be a tough sell. But all right, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed checking out these guitars with me tonight. Good luck if you're after one of those Noel Gallaghers, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.